the Prison City Podcast. When the bars go up, you're officially locked in.
Welcome to the Prison City Podcast, folks. I'm your unofficial host, Patrick Cutler, and we've been off here for, about 3.5 weeks or some shit like that, probably about 3 weeks so far. We apologize to the audience. We have a lot of plays going on, and we had this thing called Junior Buzzards, which gets in the way of this podcast. We're probably going to have to cancel Junior Buzzards next year, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be happy about that. Anyways, we thought about doing the show on the river drunk, but then we determined, well, I can't go into details what we determined because the language would have been out of control. Anyways, tonight we have a very special show. Special guest on the Fuzz, Danny Fosness, the king of improv comedy here in Montana. Got a lot of stuff to talk about him, about scheduling comedy shows and different productions we're looking forward to in the future. We got my Redgate film hat promoting the Redgate horror film here today with my t-shirt, my Redgate t-shirt and everything. A lot of big things happening today. We're going to kind of improv this entire fucking show since we got the improv king here, Danny, who's done one improv show in the last 5 years, by the way. No, anyways, let's go around the house here and just see where this fucking show goes, starting out with Kelly.
Yeah, welcome back. It's been a long time. Pat, if you ever call Fosness the king of improv again, I will fucking slit your nuts open, let you bleed out. I'm not saying, yeah, you're muted. You can't talk, bitch. I'm not saying that I'm the king or Jim Tilley's the king, but Fuzz definitely is not the king. Love you, Fuzz. Excited to have you on the show. And my last opening thing is how squeaky are these fucking doors in this goddamn place? Every time they walk out of that thing, it sounds like I'm having sex with a kitten.
All right, we're going to go to Mahones.
Really great to be back. It was a lot of fun doing our own boycott of Pat Cutler. We didn't actually have a trip. We were just really sick of his shit. And we had kind of a come to Jesus talk, and we're back now. And I can't wait to talk about Redgate and just, talk about what it would be like if we were able to film out of the prison.
Yeah, before I cut to the Fuzz, Mahomes, I want to ask you a quick question. What do you think about defunding Planned Parenthood? All right, I gotta go take a piss.
And Fuzz, if you're not familiar with this, because I think only our parents watch this, and I don't even think they watch it. I think they put it on in the background and just mute it just to support us. But what Pat does is he'll say super controversial shit, and then he'll go piss for like 10 minutes. Apparently he has the bladder like the size of a keg, and then he comes back and he's like, all right, so anyway, let's get back onto abortion. So it's good stuff, especially for the people who just listen and don't watch the video. It's really good.
And our special guest host tonight, the Fuzz. Come on, let's hear what you have to say, Fuzz. Bring it.
Well, first off, Mark, I'm Danny. It's good to meet you. I'm glad we're just full-fledged feet into this awkward conversation we're about to have.
That's
go Mariners, man.
I got to tell you, that's typically how I meet most of the Cutler friends. Is usually it's some super awkward situation, and we both just kind of have to deal with it. So happy to meet you this way.
If they said
I'm actually surprised that one of them isn't naked right now. That's typically how I meet new friends.
Well, I'm just surprised the Cutlers even said that we were friends, because that was an upgrade of what they said before we just got live. So, yeah, my life was normal before I met the Cutlers. It was seriously normal.
I'll do a quick segue talking about meeting people when they're naked or not. My ex-wife, first time ever meeting Kelly, we were shooting a scene for Mad Dad, and he was in his boxers, just almost butt naked in his boxers, mowing the lawn in the backyard. And that was the first time she ever came to our house in Deer Lodge.
Yeah. And according to her, it's the first time she ever came.
Oh, man. No wonder they call him the improv king. That was funny, buddy.
Hey, so Fuzz, this just so you know, this isn't the River Newman podcast. I heard you on that. You did a really good job, by the way. River Newman is from Butte. He does a podcast in Butte, and I was invited to be on this season, but then he found out I haven't lifted a weight since my junior year of high school. So he
River has a podcast. What's the deal behind it?
We're having some tech issues currently on the internet feed.
Called the Meat and Metal.
Oh, there we go.
So yeah, man, out on a whim, he kind of just asked me to do it, and he just wanted to know my background.
Oh, I can hear him fine.
And, yeah, he just had me. Definitely, it's good. I enjoyed it very much. It was a good time.
Meat and Metal sounds like a nice
Meat
little
and Metal.
Friday.
Yeah, Meat and Metal podcast. I think he's on Spotify.
So, by the way, I think Spotify is cool, but we're actually on like 20 of them, so you can tell River knew to shove that up his ass.
Those are his words, not mine, River. Those are his words. Just so you know, River's benching like 600 pounds. Bad.
He just bashes through the wall like the fucking Kool-Aid man.
Yeah, like the Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing though. He's not listening to this podcast because nobody is. So we don't have to worry about it.
Good, thank God.
Hey,
You said our parents were.
No, they have it on in the background with mute. They just let it play all the way through for us.
As they're banging on the
Give it a
bathroom
thumbs
floor.
up.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let me ask this question, Mahomes. If we have no viewers, then how did we go 3 weeks without a show, and yet we had 12 downloads last week?
I have 12 different email accounts, and I'm just trying to keep this thing afloat. That's the main reason.
What a dick.
Okay. Hey, Fuzz, it's time to get on to this week's topic. Hillary Clinton's emails and any conspiracy you can think of.
I don't know shit, dude. I don't want to have a suicide, man. I don't know a damn thing.
Hey, Fuzz.
A damn thing. Hillary Clinton's a saint.
Fuzz, I'm going to share my screen for a second. All right, what do you think of this alien?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I think that's Donald Bromley's eyesight through LSD.
This is an alien caught in the Redgate area for the actual film
Redgate.
Yeah. And this is actually a photo for those who have not watched our last 5 episodes that I've shown this on. This is
what's his name? Esteban?
Esteban. So
yeah.
Here, I want to see your thoughts on this. Esteban. So he shot this. He had these cameras all up in the woods stuff, and I probably told the story already, but anyways, I'll recap for our audience. And he caught this. You can read it at 7:08 p.m. October in Montana, which means nobody would be way the fuck up there at that time because it's pitch dark. And he caught this on one of his cameras, and it takes 3 photos. It only caught the one photo of this thing, whatever the fuck this thing is. It moved so fast that it didn't even get caught in another 2 photos, which is technically impossible. And we kind of came to the conclusion it's a 5th dimensional being. And there's a story about this alien from Redgate named Esteban who had sex with humans in Deer Lodge, and now he's stuck here forever. What do you think about that?
Well, that explains how I was conceived. So I see a lot of resemblance between that guy, actually. We're both pale, handsome, short, weighing $160. But anyways, on a serious note, I watched that same film. And so Donald was getting it, I think, before hunting season. And he just wanted to see it was on a game trail, if I'm not right. Yeah, game trail he had lithium batteries in it. The picture that you see right there was taken. That was the first picture. And then the other 2 were dark. And his batteries were totally drained. And I totally buy the story, man. Because Donald's never been one to come up with something, especially something like that, just out of a hat, like the Mormons wrote their whole religion off of. So I totally agree with Donald when he says that, hey, this is what I've seen. And when he lays it out to the public, he's like, I want you to tell me what it is. Instead of him just being like, this is what it is because this is the way we were taught. If it's abnormal and we don't know what it is, well, then it's a UFO. I have no idea what it is. But instead, he's like, why don't you tell me what you think it is?
Yeah, I
thought that was a smart route.
I totally agree with that. I 100% agree with what you just said there. Okay.
For anyone
That's
who's listening,
grandfather.
For anyone who's listening, like most people do to podcasts,
Bowel joke, grandpa bowel joke.
I just showed a picture. I showed a picture of an old man laughing off the toilet just when he was doing that serious speech. All right. Let's circle the wagons here. Get back on track here. What's this episode about again?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I thought we were doing improv.
It's pretty hard to circle the wagons when you don't know where the fuck you're circling to.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the wagons don't have any wheels, and we're just hoping for the fucking best out here.
Yeah, no shit.
We just got River
like this
Newman
smart guy.
dragging the wagon along at this time.
Yeah, no shit.
What was that last episode? We spent like an hour on Facebook post.
All I want to know.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, it makes me want to meet some metal.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a reference to River Newman's podcast that probably has way more followers than ours. Go ahead and listen to Meat and Metal, everybody.
So let's go to a serious topic here. So I'll go to Mahomes on this. What do you think about it's now a confirmed fact that Joe Biden's actually dead and it's a robot in his place when he gives those speeches? What do you think about that?
I feel like if that's the case, they could have had a better robot. I feel like our artificial intelligence is better than that. But if you talk to your Siri on the phone, they do seem a little robotic.
Oh, yeah.
I feel our country's in great hands, and our hero Biden ended COVID-19, and what more could we ask for?
Amen. Amen. I'll do that, Mahone. Yeah.
Hey, what do you think about let's go topic here. What do you think? You guys have, I don't know if you guys have all read this. This is kind of the most fucked up story I've seen in the last couple of weeks. What do you think about this condo in fucking Florida? Like this towers, huge condo out of nowhere, just fucking collapsing out of nowhere. You heard about that?
Crazy, man. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
go ahead,
sorry, I was just gonna say, very interesting. It's weird to bring that up because I see an article on Yahoo and everything on that every single day. At least for the last 5 days or whatever, since it's collapsed. So my fucking conspiratorial head goes, well, why? Why did this happen? And it's like, is this a distraction or whatever? I don't know. I don't really know on this one. They say they had a maintenance guy or something in there taking photos of the foundation and saying this is not good here and stuff. It's just, it's very fucking strange. I mean, you don't hear about stuff like this happening very often. Not that it couldn't happen, but I'm always, as I've said on previous podcasts, I'm always curious and suspicious, just like, that's really fucking weird, So who knows? That fucking sucks.
I got one theory, and if you guys have ever heard about this or whatever, you ever heard about those? It happens down south a lot, like those random like fucking manholes, or not manholes, but those random holes in the ground that just drop out of nowhere.
Oh, the sinkholes.
Yeah, sinkholes. You ever heard that? That's all I can think is maybe there's like a fucking sinkhole out of nowhere, lower the building. I could see it being crushed like that.
Well, it's down in Miami, right? That land isn't exactly sturdy.
Right. And I just saw, I just watched a video last night for no reason. It just came on of like this tsunami or these waves coming in off the ocean. And they took a house, 2-story, 3-story house, and it just looked like a fucking Lincoln log house and just washed it up on shore. So, I mean, the world is, and the ocean and everything's a lot more fucking powerful than we give it credit for. So you're right, Mahoney, down there in Miami, you're at the tip of the fucking tip. So that definitely is something that could just happen randomly. And they said the building sucked anyways, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, Miami's not exactly known for its like, great architecture,
structural integrity.
It's built on a fucking swamp that's like basically getting sucked in the ocean every day.
You gotta. Well, I lived up in Alaska, rural Alaska, where the Al Gore climate people put that stuff up there and stuff, and you get to see some climate change or whatever up there. But anyways, the point is, like, I've seen houses fall into the fucking ocean, not personally, but I've seen like houses that were built on the closer to the shore. The water came up so bad they just kind of fucking fell into the ocean. So you're building on these spits, these mounds of dirt. They're not even hardly an island or whatever. And this isn't Miami. Miami is a lot safer than Alaska, obviously. But when you're still that close to the ocean, it's just like, I know everyone wants that perfect view or whatever, but it's like, you're always going to gamble when you get a house that fucking close to the ocean. And this guy that built this condo, I'm sure he had a lot of insurance money, just like the guy that took the planes down to 9/11, right? So what do you think about 9/11?
I have no interest in broken.
Look at our theater wall like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. You know, the wall of our new location, our theater, apparently just caved the fuck in. You know, they didn't find any foul play. Nobody ran their car into it that we know of, but the wall just caved in. So the structural integrity again of these buildings, they get old and I guess if you don't have a fucking engineer in there looking at it 24/7, you would never know that your wall's weak and about to cave in, let alone the entire building.
Let's just, because I know Mahomes really wants to talk about this. I'm gonna skip the Fuzz here. What do you think about 9/11? The conspiracy theories? Can jet fuel melt steel beams? What do you feel about that, Fuzz?
So, on a serious question, or are we being crazy here? Is this like free? Is this anything goes? Because I don't want to fucking.
It's however you want to take it, man. You just speak.
All right, man. All right, boys, buckle up because this shit's gonna be a rough ride. But I 100% believe that was totally an inside job, dude. Nobody can convince me that these guys that play in sandboxes all day are like, you know what would be a good idea? Let's get in a fucking plane. You know what? Better yet, 2 fucking planes. Let's ram them right into the goddamn trade centers and piss off the whole United States, which we're a fucking mega power, just for funsies. Let's see what the United States does. Let's call their bluff. Nobody can convince me of that, man. And the fact that this was one of the longest wars in U.S. history. I mean, kids were babies when that happened that were fighting that war. I mean, I should say conflict or whatever it is. But, dude, it just goes to show, man, oil is worth more than blood. And I think it was based on population control because we're obviously overcrowded. We were at peace for a while before the war even happened or that conflict. And, I mean, it was one of the longest bullshit propagandas by the government, in my opinion, to ever happen.
Here's something I would weigh in on. This is a factual thing I'm going to say. I have a person that kind of worked with government ops stuff and knows all this stuff. And there was a third plane that was heading to the White House. Everyone knows the story. And the third plane crashed in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. He said the report was actually it was heading to the White House, and they fucking shot the plane down. So they shot the one plane down, but then you had the 2 other planes going straight down the heart of America, like New York City, and they know the planes are hijacked. They didn't shoot those planes down. It's like they know what the fuck the planes are doing. You know what I mean? So it's like, why did they let these 2 planes go into those buildings?
Right. Do you remember a plane being pulled out of the Pentagon like they said there was? Because I don't. I remember seeing the damage done, and there's a steel beam within every 6 feet of the Pentagon. And for a 757 jet to supposedly come in on the Pentagon like they're claiming it happened, the damage that was done to the Pentagon, there's no way a 757 could have done the same damage. So that right there, I'm like, all right, man. I like Kool-Aid and shit, but I'm not drinking.
Oh, I'll just say it. I think there's more to every story than, you're led on to believe or whatever. There's definitely more to every story. Sometimes way too much, to that story. But just speaking of the Pentagon, they were showing like the trajectory of the plane going in. This is a recent, study. And the plane would have to be, just so many feet off the ground. You're talking, who fucking knows? 25 feet, 30 feet off the ground to hit the building, the way that it did. So it's like, did it come down? It's just traveling right over the grass here perfectly with a pilot who apparently is not necessarily a professional pilot, maybe has never flown one of these planes. But for me, it goes back to the fucking insurrection on January 6th. It's the same goddamn fucking story every single time. well, this is what happened. And it's like, well, how? That doesn't make any sense. The safest country in the entire world, the mega power, as you say, the mega fucking power allows this to happen when we literally can shoot down fucking missiles out of the sky so they never hit us, nuclear defense system, whatever. It's just, there's just too many questions asked,
Let's elaborate on that for 2 seconds. A guy dressed as a fucking Viking took over the United States of America's government offices for like 3 or 4 fucking hours. How does that happen? I'll go to Mahomes because I know you love conspiracy theories. Go ahead, weigh in here.
I'm all set. You guys can go ahead. I have zero interest in this.
Josh Garrison took a vacation. That's what happened. Josh Garrison took a vacation and ended up in the White House.
For me, this is like listening to old people talk at a coffee shop. I don't give a bucket of piss about
it. Well, you can still weigh in with your opinion.
That's my opinion. Don't fucking care. This is essentially a show without me.
It was a Viking that took over the Capitol. They won, but if it was a dolphin or a falcon, I'm sure they wouldn't have taken it over.
I'll tell you what. If it was a falcon, it would have seemed like the government was fucked, and in the end, they would have fucking totally fucked it up.
They would have had Hillary's emails.
Honestly, they might have had.
They would have lost them all.
They would have had Hillary on a noose, and then when it came time to hang her, they'd have cut it for some reason. That's how the Falcons would have done it.
On accident.
Oh shit! Yeah. Head coach cuts it.
That Falcon was known to be suicidal. Fuck that Falcon.
Yeah. I agree. Yep. There it is, boys.
Jesus Christ.
There it is, boys.
I mean, that's very big of you, the guy whose fucking favorite team has won 1 billion Super Bowls. It must be tough.
Hey, Mahoney, quick question. Would you rather talk about 9/11 conspiracies or that Super Bowl that you just saw on the screen?
That's a good question. That's actually a good question. I probably care more about the Super Bowl than I do about the 9/11 conspiracies. The only thing I will weigh in on is it's easy to forget the innocence of 2001. And do you remember Daryl Kyle? Pat probably does. He was a pitcher for the Cardinals, I want to say.
Yeah.
And he fucking ran his Cessna into a skyscraper and died a couple of months before 9/11. So I remember when I first heard a plane hit the Twin Towers, I was like, oh, Jesus, another idiot did this. And so then it goes and goes. The one that I will say was really crazy, the one that doesn't make much sense, and the one that I think a lot of people point to is the Pentagon. And I actually went out there for a high school trip probably 5 months after, and we could only see the Pentagon. We were probably 10 blocks away up on this hill. And it just, a lot of it, I've been in a plane, you know how fucking fast they go. That's the one that's all right, I can see where people are questioning this. The towers thing, I was like, okay, what I could get there if you really wanted me to. The Pentagon's the only one that's okay, I can see it. That's some pretty skilled flying at that low level.
And I've looked at all sides of this, so I'm wherever on this. I don't really have an official stance or anything. And I've looked at the Pentagon one too, about the piece of the airplane. I've seen an explanation for why the plane wasn't totally there or whatever when it crashed. But I would go back to the point I had originally, and okay, they shot down a plane going to the White House. Clearly, it was shot down. That was a fact by inside intel or whatever. Why would you then, again, these? I mean, I can't go into details of how the U.S. monitors the airways pretty strong. Would you say? Right?
I mean,
100%. Yeah.
It's easy to say now. Back then, we were so fucking cocky. I think people forget what it was like you could walk. The first time I took an airplane ride, my parents walked me to the airplane. Like,
Yeah.
people forget how fucking different it was pre 9/11 and post 9/11, unless you're old enough.
Yeah, and
we were like, America was super fucking cocky. We were like, no one's gonna fuck with us because we're fucking Johnny Big Dick over here.
And I watched the.
I think that.
Thanks,
I was
Mark.
just gonna say,
Thanks, Mark, for that.
I think that it makes a for interesting conversation. You know, I don't think anybody. Nobody in this fucking group definitely knows the truth. You can speculate, you can come up with evidence, whatever you want. But I think it's interesting to discuss these topics because there's not a lot of people that are willing to discuss this shit. And that's my biggest problem. I've said that repeatedly on this podcast. Why the fuck can't you talk about things? Like, that raises the biggest red flag, you know, if you can't even talk about something. And I just want to go back really quick just so people know. Mahoney is an Atlanta Falcons fan. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. So that's where we get the Atlanta Falcon references. And we have a long-standing bet where if Atlanta wins the Super Bowl, I owe him a lot of money. If the Dolphins win the Super Bowl, he owes me a lot of money. So that was essentially the joke of, you know, a Viking took over the White House or the fucking Congress or whatever, as opposed to a Dolphin or a Falcon. And that's why Pat showed the score on the screen, is because it got so fucking close that year.
Yeah, it got so close. I showed a shot of 28-3, and then Mahoney responded to my Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and since Mike Tomlin took over the Steelers, technically they have never had a losing season under Tomlin, so I don't have a lot to complain about.
I'm super fucking sorry for your troubles. And hey, you're a big Penguins fan. Boy, that's been tough for you the last decade or two, huh? Fuck, I feel bad for you, dude.
Basically from 2005 to 2015, Pittsburgh sports teams won 4 championships, so been really tough for me.
So honestly, like, thoughts and prayers to you, man. Like, I just wish that, you know, I hope the best for you.
I think we've gone through this. Like, who has the worst teams? I think Mahoney and Matt our brother Matt, who might be on this he'll be on this podcast sometime, might have the worst teams. Matt's a Lions. Oklahoma State might be his best team. Twins, and then he likes the fucking Knicks and the Coyotes. Where Mahomes likes the Mariners, the fucking Falcons.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't really have an NBA team, but he's gonna be liking the Seattle Kraken here this fall, who currently have 0 wins.
Hey, and guess what? 0 losses. Go Crackheads.
Yeah, but I think even though Matt's journey has been really tough with the Lions, it's like it's never really changed for the Lions much. I feel like Mahoney has probably gone through more pain with the Falcons just because of that Super Bowl. But other than that, it's like you can expect the Lions to kind of suck, you know.
And people forget that we also had like this franchise-altering quarterback in Michael Vick that led us to the NFC Championship and was just like this fucking crazy superstar. And then he didn't rape anyone like Big Ben. He just killed a couple dogs and ended up going to prison. And so that seems like a pretty fair use of the justice system. Big Ben for sure raped at least one girl, spent 0 time in prison, and Michael Vick killed dogs that aren't humans and went to prison. So it's fine. I'm not bitter at all.
Timeout. In his defense, Roethlisberger got a 4-game suspension, and then they made the Super Bowl that year.
That's true. That was
Pat, you know who else raped a bunch of chicks? Brett Kavanaugh. And go. I got to piss.
What? So, anyways.
Brett Kavanaugh.
What are we even talking about here?
I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Fuzz, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here?
Brett Kavanaugh.
Brett Kavanaugh.
What the fuck is that?
I have no idea.
Go piss already, man. Nobody knows what that reference is.
I don't know if that's a Deer Lodge person or a political person. Either way.
I don't know either, Mark. I have no idea. I'm just going to go with it.
Either way,
Kelly's riding that shit off the rails.
Brett Kavanaugh.
Brett Kavanaugh.
The Supreme Court.
Nobody knows.
Oh, no. That's Justice Kavanaugh.
Yeah, Brett Kavanaugh.
No, it's not Brett.
Oh, no, it's Justice Kavanaugh to you, sir.
Yeah, he's a justice, but his first name is Brett.
Is it?
I don't fucking know that. No one
cultured
does that.
fuck.
Yeah, his name's Brett Kavanaugh.
Okay, so have fun. Now I'm gonna piss.
Because that was awkward because there's actually a person in Deer Lodge with the last name Kavanaugh. So I was very confused.
Yeah, John Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Oh, the high jump champion, the guy who was a better athlete than Jace Feldy. Jace, if you're listening, which I know you aren't, he was better than you, and he always has been, and he always will be.
God, who's sweating more right now? Me or Mahomes? I can't stand this fucking heat. It's driving me nuts.
Oh, it's you for sure, dude. You look like you just found out you had AIDS.
Yeah, I'm good. It was 110 out here, hottest it's been ever on Tuesday.
Oh,
you hear about fucking Canada? Went to 118.
110 with like 110 with like 120% humidity. Yeah. It was. I walked outside and my nuts it was a kiddie pool. You could have fucking swam in it.
like if you wanted to avoid the heat in America right now, folks, where the fuck do you go? So you could go to Alaska like me. If you could go to Alaska right now to avoid the heat, and you'd hate it because it's 24/7 daylight. I fucking hate that.
I know. 22 hours of daylight.
It's insanity. Imagine going to bed at midnight and daylight's going through all your windows and everything, and then you wake up at like 3:00 and it's just like a dust thing. And then 30 minutes later, it's like pure sunlight again. It's fucking crazy.
So is there such thing as beer goggles in Alaska during the summer? Like, do people get so drunk that they think, like, oh man, this girl that I'll never find attractive, or it's like, it's actually daylight, so I know that this girl's not attractive no matter how drunk I am.
Like gear and fucking tea. You know what the worst part is though? Is like people let their kids play out, and this isn't bad or whatever, but there's a lot of parents up there let their kids play out, and they're just playing like, oh no, they'll go to bed whenever. Before they know, it's like fucking 12:30 a.m. in the morning, and their kids are just running around still, just playing like it's like normal daylight hours or whatever.
And I mean, that's exactly what Brett Kavanaugh would want, right, Kel?
Yeah, I thought that would be more obvious on the Brett Kavanaugh accusations of, molesting Christina Blasey Ford or whatever. But apparently that's old news.
Yeah, super old news because none of us knew who the fuck you were talking
about. I get the joke now. I think it's pretty funny because Brett Kavanaugh's a piece of shit, right, guys?
Well, yeah, he's a huge piece of shit. But just joking. Is he back in the news? Like I thought I read something like he was back in the news about the same accusations or a new one or some shit. Or is anybody following that, or is that just me?
It must be you.
Okay. Well, that's a moot point then.
Yeah. The most recent news item I'm caught up on is the fastest female sprinter in American sports. It won't be able to run in the 100-meter dash because she tested positive for marijuana.
Yeah, that was one that hit me too. I think that's Joe Rogan was talking about that. That's so
fucking. So you mean to tell me? So the fastest female in sports right now is from Jamaica. You really think they're going to test Jamaica for marijuana? Really? Fuck out of here.
So I think we're heading towards sports here. Fuzz, do you want to talk some sports here, or are you comfortable with that, or do you just want to talk about how 9/11?
Oh, absolutely, for sure.
All right, cool.
Fuck yeah.
So,
let's ride it off the rails.
So a couple things here. Yeah, just going with what Mahomes said.
Kavanaugh.
Brett Kavanaugh could not probably throw the opening pitch for Major League Baseball next season, unfortunately, because of rape allegations. But what about that sprinter? She tested positive for marijuana. What do you feel about that? I mean, first of all, I think this is a really good topic to talk about because Olympic athletes do not get paid, just like college athletes. And college athletes recently is NIL, the likeness image or whatever, and athletes now college athletes can now sign on to a contract and get money for their likeness. But it's kind of saying with Olympic athletes, it's like they don't get fucking paid. Do you think? Okay, sorry, Mullins, you're sitting down. I want to talk about like
I heard you the whole time.
Okay. Yeah, so let's talk about athletes that like don't get fucking paid, that work their ass off, and now we're talking about fucking marijuana, and it's I'm not gonna say it's harmless. It's certainly something, in my opinion, based on my trips to junior buzzards, it does not give you an athletic advantage over anybody.
No. I mean, here's the thing. So this gal, she had the second fastest time in the world. So let's say she gets the silver medal in the Olympics, and that's worth $750,000 in endorsements, roughly. And now she can't do it because she did a little puff give with her friends. Like,
yeah,
that is fucking outlandish.
This is number 2.
Yeah.
I mean, what? Because maybe Pat needed to take a piss and made it as loud as possible in the middle of the podcast. I don't know. You know, I don't know what's more outlandish. This girl taking a little puff of, you know, Cheech and Chong's hit, or Pat screaming in Fuzz's ear about something.
Yeah, I think he had his dick in his ear from what I saw.
And honestly,
I don't know anything because I don't want to go missing. Pat's on and he's doing something crazy. He keeps giving me these pink lemonade drinks.
Oh, you know what? A long time ago, there used to be this guy that was on this podcast that used to love those pink lemonade drinks, and then I don't know. So I'd be careful.
And then he launched a boycott against me.
Thanks.
And then a week or two later, he launched a boycott against me.
I'm glad I'm meeting you like this, Mark. I gotta say, on totally off topic, I wouldn't rather meet a random person of the Color family than on a podcast with Pat with his dick in my ear and Kelly showing me his parts and everything else like that. So this is a really good way. I think it's pretty appropriate to meet somebody. So
I honestly,
it's good to meet you, man.
It feels right. This feels like this
is
like, you know what?
It really does.
I've heard about you a lot, and this is how I expected to meet you. I just know these two well enough.
Fuzz, he means it just feels right because you guys are 1,000 miles apart and he doesn't have to actually see you.
Thanks, Kelly. I fucking hate my life.
And you know what? That's how we're all drawn to the Cutlers. We all hate our lives, and like we're essentially trying to drink ourselves to death. And we're just like, you know what? These guys seem fun.
Yeah, they got their shit not together. Let's join that posse. Here we go. Let's dive in both feet.
You know what?
Kelly's always laughing at me. Pat's calling me gay or yelling at me, dude. I just did the Glenn Ross fucking play with them, Mark. And dude, what a shit show on my behalf. I had like an hour to prepare for the show. Pat's yelling at me for whatever reason. Kelly's laughing at me because he knows I'm gonna bomb. And just the whole show I was having like 9 panic attacks a day. Just the usual Saturdays for me.
Hey, Fuzz, you know Mahoney was in that show too, man, right? He was in the first week.
I could see that. I could see that on him, actually. Yeah, you didn't have to tell me. I think me and Mark are related.
Hey, you know,
I'm getting family vibes.
Guys,
we've been through the ringer.
I want to round the wagons.
Really quick, Pat, I think you're related too, because Fuzz, you look like your uncle fucked your aunt and you came out.
That's probably the nicest thing you've ever said to me, Kelly.
I'll be honest, Fuzz.
That's top 10, one of the nicest things you've ever said.
You're having a good time here, man.
I have a because you're clearly pissed off at me. I have a boycott Patrick Cutler shirt on the back porch outside right now. Do you wear a double XL? Does that work?
Yeah, I wear a double.
And the good news for you is that's only $35.95. It'll be yours.
Yeah. Plus shipping and handling, even though you're here right now.
Hey,
keep the change.
If you got $40, it's all yours.
Hey, I'm only giving him one because one reason. In a couple weeks, he's gonna wear it seriously.
I'm gonna be dead in a couple weeks.
I mean,
hey, I got a question, Mahoney. How many dicks did you see before this podcast started?
What a weird thing to say. Like, so if we can just stop for a second and just like imagine that there's like a random listener that somehow made it this far into this podcast. And like, maybe they're just like, oh gosh, I'll try Prison City podcast. I got a big flight ahead. I'll download this. And they pick this episode and then they get to this, right? That's what I like to imagine. This is just some Midwestern girl that is super innocent. She's like, "Ooh, Prison City podcast. I wonder what this could be." And she's flying over Montana right now, and she's asking me how many dicks I've seen. And guess what? The answer is at least one. That's the real answer. That's not a joke. So I'm sorry. There's no way that anyone who's never listened to us has made it this far. But if you have, not only have I seen a penis, it's one of the people that I'm talking to right now, right before the show started. I'm so sorry.
Co-sign on that.
I just want to say,
co-sign on that.
Oh shit!
I got the official title for this podcast, guys. I finally got it. The shittiest podcast episode ever.
It's got to be up there, dude.
It's honestly, and Mark Anthony, it's great. I miss you. I'd love to get you back on the show because you have to be the only person listening right now because this is just hot, stinky garbage. I just talked about there's no way. Can you imagine a stranger listening to this and making it past 10 minutes?
On one thing though, Mark, they can't agree that a dick is a weird looking thing though, man. It looks like a cancer bag with a tumor snout hanging off it. Like dicks are fucking weird. I don't care what it is. Do you sit on them? They get hot. They're sweaty. They stink sometimes. I hate it, dude.
It's a weird deal. And it honestly reminds me of, I'm very excited for the 4th of July hot dog eating contest. And I think Joey Chestnut's going to defend his title.
Yeah. That part is when we get excited, so does somebody else. You know what I mean? It just slowly fucking, girls can hide it all day, but with us, like, oh man, Dan's really having a good time. And I'm double barreling it. You know what I mean? I'm just fucking about ready to pass out.
Yeah, you guys always say, oh, this is the worst podcast ever. But every time we do the stupidest shit on earth, we get upwards of 58,000 downloads.
I mean, anytime that's the thing that's crazy is anytime you hear us say 10, 12, we're always we're talking in thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands. It would make more sense if we said 10, 100,000 to say a million, but that's not how we were taught in Powell County. It's a different math. You wouldn't get it if you're not from here. So
Jesus Christ, Kelly's on the pink lemonade now. We got a bottle of pink lemonade going around.
I know. I just seen that, dude. I just seen that.
It's dangerous.
Hey, and Pat, I don't know if you know where this podcast is going. We're 40 minutes in. And it doesn't seem like we do. So, Fuzz. If we got nothing else to talk about, what if Fuzz shared his little story about going on a date in Missoula? I think that would be fun for people to hear, and
that would be great because as a former co-host of ours once said, he went on a date in Missoula because why Kelly or Pat? Can you tell me why he went to Missoula and didn't stay at home?
Because you don't jizz where you eat.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right.
But Mahoney, you got to hear this story because we're trying to kick off a comedy tour of such, and next fall. So this is a stand-up joke that he said, but it's apparently a true story. Am I speaking out of line here, Fuzz, or can we hear about this?
Hey, time out, quick time out before he starts the show. You're doing so. This is next fall or this current coming fall?
We're going
this current coming fall.
We're going to LA on September. In September.
You should maybe make a stop in Seattle, and I could just come and do a show or something.
Wait. Time. Are you serious? Yeah. Would you come to? You should come to fucking LA with us in September. What are you doing in September?
Yeah. But seriously, I don't have that many vacation days left, and
it's a weekend.
It's bachelor party, wedding, bachelor party. All my vacation days are used for you motherfuckers. So
well, don't become friends with fucking 19 brothers that get married in the same year.
Hey, do you have a week?
That is my fault.
It's a weekend. You can come down for one weekend, do a Saturday show, fly back.
Hey,
Sunday.
Pat, do it. If not, we are doing a show in LA, 100%.
Yeah.
This is serious. The fall comedy tour, a lot of Montana shows too, but we're trying to get out there and just fucking do it. Why the fuck not? But he hit it on the nose. Why not do one in Seattle? They clearly appreciate good humor out there. Look at the Chaz Freedom Zone.
It's actually the Chop.
Would you do a show, Mahoney? If we came out there, would you do a show with us?
1,000,000%. Yes.
Okay. Would you? Right. Hey, come on. What direct flight from Seattle to LA? You get in there, you fly out Saturday, get there Saturday afternoon, do a show that night, and fly home Sunday. Come on, let's do it.
Like I'm like 85% already in. Yeah. Just yes.
Have another one of them Coors Lights and let's talk in 20 minutes.
I know. Hey.
Yeah, Mark, I'll have one with you.
Dude, because here's the deal. This is turned into a personal conversation, not even a podcast at this point.
I mean, no, it's like my gal from Midwest who heard how many penises I've seen. She's tuned out, so we're good. We can have this conversation.
So we had a meeting before this. We're seriously going down to LA. One night we're going to screen our horror film Redgate and try to make some contacts, do some meetings and stuff. The next day we're going to do an improv show at LA Comedy Club, and just put our best improv show out there for people and just see what fucking happens. And then the next day we're going to fly home. So I mean, do the improv show Saturday night. You fly in Saturday afternoon or whatever. We go through shit or whatever. You could fucking do it.
So do you have proper stage time for an improv show, or is it like you're going to a comedy club and they expect like stand up? Like what's the setup?
No, we would have to make a couple of calls down there and set up a show. Absolutely, but yeah, I mean, hopefully we can just get our own show. And you know what? They do shows all the fucking time down there. We don't got to go to the Laugh Factory or something like that. We can just find a place and be like, hey, we want to do comedy here, and let us through the doors, and we'll make it fucking happen.
I mean, if I can make it work, I don't see any reason why the fuck not.
All right.
Well, and up and beyond that shit too, though, if it's not LA, like we are legitimately trying to do more and more shows, like no less than one a month, two. So
here's the deal, though. We feel like we talked about this, and we feel like our best product, our most refined product, because and Kelly and Matt and the Fuzz, you guys have all done this when I've been gone in Alaska. They've refined it so well, and I've done a couple shows with these guys. Our best product, and Mahomes will agree with this. What have we been doing since the beginning of time? Fucking improv shows in Matt Freese's basement. Like we've been doing that since like the beginning of fucking time. Like that is our most polished product. And I know, Mahomes, you haven't been in a improv show in a long time or whatever. I'm telling you right now, they have an extremely very polished product. It's very, very good. To get you into the crowd or whatever, get you in it, it would not be hard. We might do a couple Zoom call rehearsals or something with you and just go through shit. We would fucking crush it. I guarantee it.
Yeah. If it's not the LA show, which would be cool for you to be there, we could go to Seattle. I mean, all these places too are so fucking big, millions of people. You don't have to, depending on time, of course, but you can do a show at 6 o'clock at one place and turn around and do a 10 o'clock or a midnight show, even like Second City in Chicago. They have fucking midnight shows, like late. So there's no reason you can't turn around and do 2, 3, 4 shows in one weekend and just make it a big blast and fucking fly home.
So, and also to clarify though, with the Fuzz is kind of our promotional guy who's making these connections and stuff and making the calls and stuff. So the Fuzz is the guy that we're kind of going through. And what do you think about all this, doing a Seattle shows, LA shows? What do you think about this, Fuzz?
Dude, I'm 100% in, man. Like I said, I just got to know set dates so I can push shows that we already have lined up ahead of schedule. Whatever you guys are comfortable with. Mark, obviously this is the first time I'm meeting you, which is crazy because we're both at a deer lodge and you're so tight with the Cutler brothers. Pretty much, if we can line it up, I can promote it. We can do it. Anything goes right now, guys. And everyone's just getting over COVID, getting out of this funk. Everybody's wanting to get out, see shows, do stuff, laugh. I think we have a product that's worth selling. So yeah. I believe in what we're doing and this movement we got going on.
And two other points I'd say, as Kelly and those guys went down and saw improv shows down in California, and he said they're terrible. The other point that was more important is, like, I've had contacts down in LA, and they're like, dude, COVID wiped everybody out. nobody's here. Like before COVID, the doors were pretty closed for comedy shows. Now the doors are wide the fuck open down there. So it's like, why not take our shit down there and just fucking see what we can do for one night? Just give it all we have and put our best product out there. I guarantee we're going to kick some ass. Mahomes, what do you think?
And you know,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Honestly,
really quick, Mahomes, really quick. I was just going to say, we have enough footage too right now to make a hell of a fucking demo reel. And we have connections in a lot of cities. You know, all you need is one fucking connection. And you send them your demo reel, like Chicago, send it down to Zanies and be like, you know, if they do the improv type of stuff, just say, look, we have done this for years. Here's some of our shit. People are laughing. People are having a good time. We could go to any city in the fucking nation and do this shit. It's like we've said all night. It's about doing it, not just talking about it, but doing it. Sorry, Mahoney.
No, I mean, I'm pretty open to the idea, honestly. If it's something that like I can make work and I don't have to take a day off to do, fuck it. Right. I mean, you guys have known me long enough. That's typically my attitude. If I can do it, then fuck it. Let's try it. So
yeah.
Good.
I want to
Good.
let's like go at Danny or
No, yeah, just from meeting Mark, man, I can already tell that he's got definitely the same sense of humor. I'd have no problem promoting the shows or however you guys want to promote it. I was just asking tonight, like whatever you guys are comfortable with. So yeah, Mark, if you want us to come out to Seattle, man, I totally think that's a doable thing. So.
Oh, absolutely. It's more than doable thing.
Hey, we have another improviser here that wants to join us in Seattle.
Oh,
he's off tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. The
Say
white
hi,
Bill
say hi.
Cosby.
Hey, say hi to all the listeners. Not everyone's watching, so he's going to say hi here. Trevor
He's going to say hi, ladies and gentlemen, the second place finisher in the Okanowski Challenge. It's great to see him alive and healthy.
No shit, yeah. Hey, Mahoney, how long did it take? So we go on this camping trip, right? You got to climb this fucking cliff, or actually only 2 people have done it. Tilly's the oldest person to ever do it. It took him, 3.5 days to get up there to the road?
What I love is that I'm like, we have some search and rescue guy, and you guys, you're like, you know what? Hey, Mahoney, you go up and find him. And I go, where Pat said he found him was nowhere near the road. And so I hike up. It's not close. It wasn't like where I found him was nowhere near where we were.
Are we still talking?
Had to leave
are we still talking about the
little
trail
bus markers? Yeah, of course we are, because it's the most ridiculous shit you've ever said.
There was a party bus.
Here, Mahoney, before you tell the party bus story, let me just further alliterate on this Okanowski challenge, as they call it. So this guy Okanowski, he coached in Deer Lodge. He played for the Green Bay Packers.
Kelly, you should throw it back to the whole Blackfoot story to begin with, just us floating in the Blackfoot. What people know, Missoula, Montana, it's a big river. It's a huge cliff. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, so we've been floating this river ever since we were little kids, but the main reason was because of Okanowski or people like that taking my parents up there and showing them this part of the river. So we go up there every year. This is our 18th year camping on the big Blackfoot River. It's so fucking beautiful. Don't go there if you're from California. Go fuck yourself. But we get up there.
Fuck you, California.
That's as we're going to California.
Yeah, no, not LA. We love LA.
Yeah, LA. We love you.
Fuck you, San Francisco. Till we come there too. But we get to. You taking off? Talk to you later. All right, love you, Moose. So we get up there and there's this fucking just straight up and down like cliff. There's no reason anybody on the face of the planet, if you've ever seen like a mine, like an overground mine shaft, it's straight up and down, all these little rocks and pebbles. I've climbed to the top of one once or twice. It's fucking hard. So this guy, for some reason, decides, Okanowski, to go up there and fish, or, I mean, as we say it, legend has it, he pulled his raft out there, which is literally the worst place on the fucking river. He pulls it up this cliff face, gets almost to the top, which is almost impossible, slips, falls all the way down, gets all bruised and bloody, and falls in the fucking river. So now we have this thing, and it's literally our 18th year, mind you. we have this thing called the Okanowski Challenge, and it really was a challenge that didn't exist until the last 2 years, until our buddy Taylor Henson, which he listens to the Prison City podcast. Hello, reaching out there to Mr. Henson. He did it. We should have timed him the first year because he probably did it in 4 minutes or some shit, but we didn't because no one thought he'd fucking do it or make it out alive. This year, Tilly takes off, and I'm like, dude, you could be the oldest person to ever do this. So he takes off. He should have had a walker or some shit. He's making it about 5 feet up this thing, sliding down almost into the river. So, and Mahoney's over there saying, Tilly, get back in the raft, get back in the raft. Taylor takes off. They're kind of racing to the top. Taylor gets ahead of Tilly, obviously. And then we're trying to get Tilly back in the raft, and you're in this giant whirlpool. And we get sucked out of the whirlpool where you're going to go down this big set of rapids. And after that, we really were fucked.
Let me take this over for a little bit. This whirlpool, once you get in it, as Mahomes knows, you never get out of it. It just goes and goes and goes. So you're typically like, we're in the whirlpool, we're pretty safe, we're not going to go. So we're doing this challenge, and once they get down to the challenge, they come back down this other side, and then we pick them up or whatever. Out of fucking nowhere, nobody's paddling, no one's doing anything. We get kicked out of the whirlpool. So we're going down in this big shaft, this big hill or whatever. It's so fucking hard to get back to the road or whatever. So we're going down. We go down a little ways. We stop and pull over. It's so hard to go back up this fucking mountain and stuff and find these guys. So what really happened was I go back up there, and I was the one that said I'll go back and find them. And basically I went back up there, and again, there's a lot of vehicles, a lot of people that are from California or wherever. And there's a vehicle that went by, and I'm high, I'm stoned off my ass, I'm drunk off my ass, and I hear a vehicle go by, and in my mind, I'm thinking, well, what if they got into a vehicle going down the Johns Road and just to meet us down there? Because this is a totally reasonable thing to think, because there so many vehicles going down there, like, well, hitchhike will go meet down at Johns Road or wherever. I come back with a story that's not true at all, and I say, I heard this big van go by, and then people yelling. I was like, I bet they got into a party bus and went down the Johns route. So I went back with the story in my head, high as fuck, that they went into a party bus and went down the Johns route. All right, who wants to take it over?
And that was like, he's underselling how much he sold it, because he came down, he went up, and so little as I know, it felt like he went up like to the road. And he came back. He's like, no, they're in a party bus. We got to go. And he's like trying to push the raft off. So we're like on the shore. And he's like, they're going to beat us. Like, we got to go. They're in this party bus. Like, I heard them. They're gone. And so like, it took me and Kelly a second to be like, let's ask a couple more questions. Like, this shit doesn't really check out. So then we ask him, and then you can kind of see like his just glazed over look, like, okay, this story is not true.
The problem with weed, though, is if you ask me a serious question, I'm going to tell the honest answer. So Kelly's like, I just remember Kelly saying, did you see them in the party bus? I was like, no.
I was like, but you heard them. He's like, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, Mahoney, but this challenge is so fucking hard, as we've said. And we just saw them, 5 minutes ago? I'm like, there's no fucking way either of them got to the top yet. So you're saying they got to the top, they found some people in a party bus, apparently, and jumped in. And not only did they go down the road, but they're screaming out the windows in front of perfect fucking strangers. Woo-hoo!
And mind you, we've been on this trip for 18 years and have never once seen a fucking party bus, ever. Ever.
But we believed him.
and we were, if you've ever been on a float and you've been drinking long enough, you're like, yeah, that checks out. But so we finally started asking questions. So they send me up to go find Tilly. And so I walk up and I realize Pat didn't even come remotely close to the fucking road. He was gone for a minute and a half. It's 4 minutes to even get to the fucking road. Like, it's not even close.
Oh,
so then I go on.
Time out. I'll tell a true story here. I'll admit to it. When you're higher than shit, time slows down. And I got up to the trail. I got to the little trail above where we were at. I didn't go to the road at all. I looked around. And I thought,
I'm not. Yeah, of course you did. It was not even fucking close to the road.
Hey, Mahoney, I just got an update. So I just got an update from Mahoney. He just finished a workout, 0.48 miles during this podcast he ran.
I mean, you've seen me, and it's all hard work, man. And by the grace of God, go I. You know, I work hard and meat and metal, dude. Meat and metal.
Meat and metal. Meat and metal.
Who wants to finish this fucking story?
So anyway, I go up. I finally get to the road, and much like Pat, I'm blitzed, but I'd been mentally prepping myself like, okay, I'm gonna have to climb down this cliff face and get Jim, or like, in my thought was like, I'm either gonna have to climb down and pull him up, or like I'm climbing down and we're both falling into the river, and I'm gonna put my feet up and we're gonna go to where the raft is. And so I'm yelling for him, fully not expecting to find him, and I'm walking and walking, and I get climb up to the top of this cliff, and son of a bitch, if there isn't Jim Tilley pulling rocks out of it. I was thrilled to find him.
Oldest fucking guy to do that. Now, mind you, we only know of 3 people who've ever tried.
If you've ever been down the river, which please don't go if you haven't. If you've never been, there's no reason to try it. Think of the dumbest place to get out of the river. That's where you would go. Anyway, I found Jim, and he was like, "Hey man, I'm so glad you came and found me." And then he got super weird the rest of the trip, but I found him. We had a search and rescue certified guy from Wyoming who couldn't fucking find him. I found him. I'm 1 for 1. He's like 0 for 15.
Okay, did you tell the rest of the story where we left the other guy up there, Henson, and he showed up not on a party bus, but it looked like it was a party truck at least, yelling and screaming at us. So it was a party bus.
Yeah, he comes down. See, you go down another probably, I don't even know, 3/4 of a mile to a mile. So we're going without Henson for a while, and then Pat's right. Pat predicted the future. Here comes this truck, and Henson's screaming out the window. He doesn't know anything about the party bus. Hey, you guys! And Pat predicted the fucking future. So him and Esteban have something in common.
Honestly, the way I think about it, I don't know if Pat and Esteban are not the same person.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I would agree with that.
Hey, we're gonna kick it to my story about LA from years ago, and then we're gonna kick it to the Fuzz's story that Kelly's been alluding to here for so long. I'm going with my story.
He's heard it like 5 times.
I want to hear it again.
Yeah, and I'll say this, my story first, and I'm gonna say this. Mahomes, I'm not selling you on going down and doing an improv show in LA. I'm just going to tell you this quick little story. We had a film back in 2012, made it to Hollywood. It made it to the festival. Me and Kelly, we all worked very hard on it. It made it to a big comedy festival. Technically from Alaska, I was doing a tournament. I used to broadcast a tournament. I'm talking way the fuck up in Alaska, like Village, Alaska, way above Anchorage, way above Nome, these remote villages. And technically, I could have hit a flight from Unalakleet, which is this village below Nome, which I know nobody knows Alaska, but you're way the fuck up there. I could have technically hit a flight from Unalakleet after this grindhouse tournament I did for like 7 straight days with no sleeping pretty much, and hit fucking LA by the showing of the film. At that time, I was still like my 2nd year in Alaska, and I was unsure about a lot of different things. And I wasn't sure what my work would say. And again, looking back, my work would not have given a fuck whatsoever if I would have done this. I decided not to do it. I decided to stay in my house there and drink beer or whatever and watch the film simultaneously as they screened it. I will say this. I definitely regret that experience not going down there when I had the chance to watch one of my own films that we all did, our film, that we all did. I definitely regret not saying, fuck, I'm going to grind this out and just go all out, fuck my work, and just go down and see it. I wish I would have done that every day of my life, because I think technically, Kelly, I would have got there like at 3:00 that day, and I think the movie screened at like 7:00 or something like that. 10 I could have done it. I had so many fucking things going on at that time, but I definitely regret not doing it. So that's my pitch to you, Mahomes. You don't have to go from a fucking village in Alaska. Just go from Seattle to LA. Let's go.
For me, if it's like, if we have a proper show and all I gotta do is come down and fly down and fly up for a weekend, yeah. If I don't have work, why not? Yeah. Not only does it sound like fun, it sounds like I'm in potential. Not like it's not just fun, but it's potential, right?
And the older you get too, the more you realize, like, holy fuck, like the years, the days, the weeks just fly by. It's like if you really want to do comedy or be a musician or be a fucking lawyer or anything in life, then there's no point in waiting. I know we all got responsibilities and stuff, but it's like, fuck, man, before you know it, we're all going to be 70 or 80 years old. And it's like, sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and do it. And you never regret it. I've noticed that. I never regret going out of my way to do something big or crazy or whatever.
So this is like for, if I do this, I could be a lawyer, right? Like I go down and do this show, I could be a lawyer.
That was my point. Yeah.
That's what I took from it. And I'm like, I wasn't ready to go, but I'm ready to go now. Like I'm ready to be a defense lawyer for Bill Cosby.
Well, you'd be a good one then. But anyways, we've been long awaiting Fuzz, our special guest. And you didn't even give us consent. So, this little story you got?
I never give consent, for the record. But
so this is one of Fuzz's big. He tells us in his stand-up act, and I guess that's what we're kind of promoting in this show is stand-up comedy. So if you want to give us, the whatever version you got of this, Mahoney's never heard it, but it's a fun one.
New to me.
It's Mark. I don't even know how to explain this. Like I always tell Kelly every time I re-say this, dude, it's never easy to talk about. So before I was doing my very first comedy show, I had a bunch of shit written down, which I don't know. I was trying to get a bunch of material together. I was overthinking it. So like, man, I should jump on Tinder and try to go on a date, try to get myself out there.
Just get it out.
Dude, just get it out. Just go out, have fun, relax a little bit. Cause I was so nervous. Cause I was finally going to put my own material into use. So I go over to Missoula, meet up with this girl. Oh man, she shows up and wearing like spandex, the whole works. I thought she was like a Grizz cheerleader or something, dude. Like she was hot, way out of my league, kind of hot. You ever been one of those dates where it's like it's too good to be true?
My whole marriage is that, yeah.
Okay. So you kind of get it. You kind of understand where I'm going with this. So dude, we went to the Iron Horse to eat. Dinner's going great, but it's like going too great. She's agreeing with like everything that I'm saying, not arguing, eating a steak, like into fishing, into hunting. I was like, what the fuck? How are you single? How are you with me, dude? Because I'm a goofy looking motherfucker, So one thing leads to another. We go to the movie theaters. It was the Joker. When the show The Joker came out.
Oh God.
I wasn't paying much to the film.
That's how you know. I'll segue here for a second. I saw the Joker flying down from my village in Anchorage. I rushed to the theater just that night to see the fucking Joker. That's how good that movie was. But go ahead.
Yeah. No, it was great from what I seen of it. I kept like trying to, I was pulling every move I could, man, because I was like, dude, this girl was so hot. I was trying to seal the deal, just like any guy does when they go on a first date with a hot girl. So I keep getting my hand swatted away. I'm like kissing her, playing with her neck, doing, just stupid shit. Go to the bathroom, and she comes in behind me, man. And I was like, oh my God, I thought we were gonna have bathroom sex. I was like, it's been one of my favorite fantasies since I was a little kid. I was like, oh my God, dude, this is actually gonna happen. So we're in here, she walks, starts peeing next to me in the urinal. Long story short, Mark, it was a dude. Yeah, I went on a date with a fucking dude. I ran out of the fucking movie theaters. Kelly gets off on this for some reason, man. I don't know why, but dude, it's just like crushed all my hopes, man. The whole ride home. It was like Elton John's birthday that day too, man. So there's like fucking Tiny Dancer on repeat on my goddamn stereo because I'm in a spot with like no cell service. And dude, it was just the longest. It was the worst night of my life, man. I almost went gay after that. Seriously, I was like, you know what, man? when a dick's intended for you, it changes you. I don't know how chicks take it so well, because I didn't take it that well.
I mean, here's the thing. It's 2021, and I'm not here to judge.
No.
And I'm also a little disappointed you didn't get to see the end of the movie, and I think you probably are too.
Oh my God.
And like, who knows? Maybe I know some girls that pee in urinals, and they just take it because it's a shorter line. So maybe you just really overread the situation, and you could be married by now. Like,
Mark,
you could be married to Mrs. Joker,
man, because the Color brothers really have let me know that I went on a date with a dude, and really let me know.
Yeah, don't. I mean, that's very Deer Lodge thinking. You don't need to listen to that.
No, I agree. No, I agree.
Kelly, you hear that? Fuck you.
I want to say this. I agree. After my story of basically trying to go through this impossible route through Alaska to see my own movie, which would have been almost impossible if you even tried it, I honestly feel sorry for you, man.
Thanks, Pat. None of what you just said helped me in any way, shape, or form. So
honestly, it took me a minute to catch up to what he was saying, and I still feel like what you should have finished the movie, because you never know where that's going to go.
So finish the movie, then have a dick surgery.
That could be post surgery.
I went and took a piss.
How'd you think?
No,
I've been to a couple country concerts out here in this area, and when guys go piss, the girls' line is super long, and girls will come and pee in the urinals. They'll come and squat in the urinals. So
yeah, Mark,
I don't.
But they're not guys, though. Like, they're just girls using a guy's bathroom. This was a guy.
You saw his dick? Did you see his dick? I'm sorry. Mahoney has a very good point. I'm sorry. Mahone's point is very, very good because it's very factual. Did you actually see the person's dick?
Yeah, I seen it. Jesus Christ. I don't know how many times I got to say it. I seen it. It hurt me. It hurt me deep down inside. I don't want to talk about it. Kelly keeps bringing it up. But, dude, so prior to the show, I'm on the way home. I'm like, man, everything that I wrote down is out the window. Like, I'm going to fucking just tell them how my love life is and see what they accept, because this just happened and I fucking hate my job. I hate my life. So, yeah, I tried getting myself back out there. I got catfished. Yeah, and Kelly's just like, oh, man, it's okay. Everyone sees a dick now and then. No, it's not okay. I'm not Joe Biden. I'm not a Democrat. It's not normal for me.
It's perfectly fine, though. I have one question. Is that a woman's sports bra you're currently wearing?
You like this, Pat? You like that right there? That's all American, man.
Excuse me, that's
100%.
Excuse me, sir. This is a family show. I'm not sure if you've noticed. At this
I like
time,
Mark.
Fuzz,
Mark's at least sensible.
Me and Danny hate each other, but we're gonna fucking kick ass in the future.
I never once said I hated you. You hated me over Glenn Ross. You were the one yelling. God damn it, you have one line.
And don't feel bad, because there's not a single person, like, I've known Pat for forever. He fucking hates everybody, so like, don't feel bad about it.
Hey, Danny, Fuzz, I like how you say, I always bring up that story, but then every single stand-up show you do, you tell that story fucking 78% of your act, you fucking cunt. Well, family show.
He said bunt. Kelly's a big, like, when there's runners on, he wants to bunt to advance, is what he was talking about.
Oh, like Mr. Bunt fucking that chick on the piano in junior high?
No, that's not what I was talking about, no.
Hey, Fuzz, I got a t-shirt for you after the show. Boycott Panther Cutter t-shirt, XXL, has your name on it. You want it? It's there for you.
I'll take it.
And you know what? That's crazy, because I paid for my fucking own, and I'm on this show.
You know what's crazier? You know what's crazier though, Mahomes? Oh, he's going away to piss.
What?
You were the first one to get a fucking t-shirt. Like, you were the first.
Yeah, because I realized how real the fucking movement was, and it needed support.
as he's sweating out his fucking COVID virus.
He was also the first
Kelly
that had a Black Lives Matter T-shirt. Oh, let's not go there.
He was the first to have a vaccination shot out of all of us.
Yeah, Kelly, you definitely don't let me forget that date, man. I gotta give it to you, dude. You always remind me. You just showed me your fine package, and it just brought back PTSD.
Yeah,
just back to the old urinal.
I wouldn't even know anything about this story if you didn't tell it in every stand-up show you've ever done.
You know what's crazy is what's nuts is I've never done the stand-up, but I'm gonna open with that exact story.
Do it. Somebody else take the reins, man. Take the fucking reins, dude.
In the LA show, it goes Mahoney, stand-up, then Fuzz, and he's gonna totally just do your entire act.
But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about that's how I met my wife. I'm gonna totally.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And he was man enough to get her pregnant somehow.
Yeah. You ever heard of a thing called strong swimmers?
Put a lit cigarette on your neck and just go for it.
You know what,
All right.
Fuzz?
This has been a great show. You guys are fantastic. I'm fucking out of here.
Good meeting you, Mark.
Hey, good seeing you.
I'll let Pat circle the wagons first before I go. Anyway.
Circle the elephants, Pat.
Let's circle the fucking elephants, boys. Here. What do you got? What do we got on time? Oh, I don't need to go that long. All right, folks. You have just witnessed the shittiest podcast in fucking history.
It's hard to beat. Like, truthfully, like every meat and metal is a million times better than this, and I've never even heard meat and metal.
Before we circle the wagons, though, I want to hear one more thing. Please tell me, Mahomes, what would our lives be like right now? All of us, all our lives right now, if the Montana State Prison let Enigma film on their property.
Truth be told, everyone who's talking right now, even Fuzz, would be multi-millionaires. If we had just
I like how you threw me in there too. Thanks, Mark.
I mean, truthfully, you wouldn't have even been filmed because you'd have been in 3rd or 4th grade. But guess what? It doesn't fucking matter. Because we'd have been so famous, we'd have just been like, hey, this guy has talent, let's bring him in. And you'd have been 10 times over a millionaire by now.
He'd be rich by association.
So,
Yeah,
Fuzz,
I like that.
A quick backstory for Fuzz and everybody else who just tuned in right now. We have like a total of 0.5 viewers. I guess he's gone.
Could you imagine if anyone just tuned in right now?
Oh God.
We fucking so we're high school kids, and high school kids typically don't get access to the Montana State Prison property. Not a typical thing, I would say. And basically, though, the story is Mahomes promised us some things where he said stuff, and he admits that he probably over analyzed it or whatever. But we had as high school kids, again, I guess perspective is all about things. As high school kids, we had access to prison property in Montana to film a fucking horror film. Things didn't quite work out. We'll just leave it at that. It was a crazy venture. We were renting a camera, all these different things. But every episode ends with Elise talking about the horror film Enigma, which we couldn't complete, which we did kind of halfway complete, but it wasn't quite the way we wanted to because we didn't have access to this property as high school kids. So I think everybody can understand out there that how pissed you would be at as a high school student. How pissed would you be that you couldn't film on the state prison property? So let's just end it at that and go away.
I think everyone can appreciate that statement, Pat.
All right,
it's hard not to.
All right, let's go to Mahomes' last statement for the night show.
This has really been a heck of a show, and I'm thrilled for, if you're listening right now, my fictional girl from the Midwest, we'll see you down in LA in September, and I hope you come and see us, and I'm happy to sign autographs. You don't want one from me because it's going to be worth less than the paper I signed, but really happy to see you down there, and thanks for sticking with us. And yes, we definitely saw penises before this podcast, so please don't tell your parents. But if you liked it, tell your friends. I can't imagine you would. You're kind of a weirdo. Thanks.
All right, Kelly.
It's good to be back. I know it's kind of like a little bit of turbulence taking off again. It's like we're flying through Hurricane Katrina, but guess what? The plane's still going. And next week we'll be on our way to fucking Bangkok, wherever we're landing. I want to thank Mr. Fuzz, Danny, for coming on here and sharing some of your life wisdom and stories and comedy. And yeah, we are looking at just taking that next step and going, doing, because life is short, and why the fuck not? That's what everyone out there should be asking yourselves. Why the fuck not? Go do it. Thank you, Mahoney, too, for being all of our defense attorneys for this podcast so we don't get sued.
Sorry, the Fuzz, go ahead. I was just about fell asleep there. Sorry.
Yeah, this has been fun for sure. This is my first podcast with you guys. Obviously, I wouldn't rather meet Mark on any other terms, like a normal beer or lunch of some sort.
Nope. So how we do things here.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great, man. I just totally let you in on some embarrassing secrets of mine. And with Kelly, what he said, just keep pushing forward. If you guys are like battling inside demons, just know that I went on a date with a freaking dude and thought it was a chick and spent $300. So your problems ain't that bad. So with that being said, I'll just give it to Pat.
Yeah. You've inspired me, Fuzz, by the way. I did not want to say this on this podcast, but I'll say this right now. I actually put a Craigslist ad out a couple of weeks ago to hire a girl to pretend to be my girlfriend just for fun. So there you go. And we'll end the show on that.
Yeah. I'm out, dude.
Well, I guess those who have watched this entire show, which is 0.25. Fuck you.